Hello my beautiful little muglets. So today we are going over quite a few things. I want to once again bring attention to the fact Luna is here. I highly recommend summoning for her if you don't have her. She has her own special banner, which means if you do 120 summons, the very next summon is guaranteed to have her. Of course, if you're lucky, you can get her even sooner. We're going to talk about why I like Luna so much, but first I want to thank Epic 7 for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't checked out Epic 7 yet, I'll have links in the description down below, so make sure to check it out. So I think Luna's entire kit makes her special, but her passive skill, Dragon Knight's Will, is really exceptional in my opinion. She'll increase her own attack and critical hit chance by 30% when she has more than 50% health. This is actually super good for beginners who can't get all the crit rate they need early on in the game. At the same time, it's also excellent for late game players because they can just build her up to 70% crit and then fill the rest out with more offensive stats like crit damage or more attack. Besides that, if she goes under 50% health, she'll get 30% defense and critical hit resistance, making her more tanky, giving her some time if she has a lifesteal set, an artifact like Sigurd Scythe, or just a healer that can heal her back up to above 50%. Her other two skills are excellent too, of course. Her ultimate gives a 100% chance to decrease the enemy's defense as long as it's not resisted, and decreased defense is, in my opinion, the best debuff in the game. It lets herself and her allies deal way more damage to the enemy. Along with that, she can attack anyone with this skill, and it'll always be an advantageous element, and that means it'll always do extra damage, and unless there's some evasion at play, there's going to be no chance to miss. And finally, the enemy even has a lower chance to resist the decreased defense. It has a super long cooldown at 10 turns, but her basic skill, which is also very special, helps with that a lot. It's a bit RNG based because she will stab the target a random number of times, and depending on how many times she stabs the enemy, it'll decrease the cooldown of her ult by 1 to 3 turns. Along with that, this skill has the potential to do massive damage, even more than her ult, if you're lucky and get the maximum stabs. Even the lowest amount of stabs still does decent damage, but when you get that sweet maximum stab damage, it's just awesome. Besides that, of course, in our current side story, the Shadow of Ravenwing Manor, she gets massively increased stats, 50% to all, so she can definitely help you farm a lot more efficiently there. Besides that, I want to touch on pets again, how I've been using them. Here's my current lobby pet, Cherry Mush. To be honest, he's more of a placeholder right now, but in the meantime, he does give me 9% enhanced XP and 1.5% extra chance to get a good success while enhancing equipment, which is good because I do enhance equipment quite a lot. So in my experience, the best pets and the most useful and versatile ones are in fact the battle pets though, because you can use them to help you with tons of different content. I need some archer's visions to enhance a skill of one of my characters. Here there is some, they cost 120 AP and I only have 72 at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is go to region info, go over here to monster, find out who drops the archer's vision. It's this dude over here in 10-7. And not only do I have the chance to just get the full catalyst, but when I'm taking baby Lucas with me, I have an 11.25% chance to receive double AP. So a pretty solid chance to make that 8 AP, 16 AP, and also be able to buy them from the shop quicker. And of course, when you're going to be grinding a lot, you want to step away for a bit. You can of course set a number of repeat battles to happen. In this case, we're going to need to do 15. Of course, while you're repeat battling, they will open chests for you, activate altars for you, go in goblin gates, etc, etc. So the game really doesn't need your attention at all for this. So you know, you could go to lunch, make yourself a sandwich, whatever, come back and have hopefully all the AP or archer's visions you need. Of course, when I'm going into hunt, I'm gonna take McMuglet with me, which gives me a 7.5% chance to receive an additional piece of equipment from hunt, and of course I can also take him when I'm going into Spirit Altar for extra runes. Here's the pet house where you can see all of your available pets. I currently have a couple of 3 stars. I'm looking forward to getting them to 4 star eventually, but that might take a little bit because at the moment, you can only really enhance them with pet food and other pets. Don't forget to play with your favorite pets every day by using Stigma. Also, if you have any toys, you can give them to your favorite pet as well. Ours is almost at familiar. Also, what I haven't mentioned yet is when you're making a 4 star, you can actually select 2 skills, so you can guarantee at least 2 will be really good. And yeah, that's pretty much the pet system. We're also going to be using our Moonlight bookmarks as there is a new Moonlight hero, Troublemaker Crozet, and we're going to go over him a bit as well. But without further ado, let's get started with these Moonlight summons. Regardless of which heroes we get, it's cool, but going for the new one, Troublemaker Crozet. And yeah, let's just get started. Alright, so we're starting off here with a 3 star. Alright, so you know we got Doris. It's cool. We got enough chances left. Sven, you know, let's get this Troublemaker Crozet though. Here we go. It's another 3 star. It's Elson. It's fine. Oh, here we go. This could be Troublemaker Crozet. It's a 4-star. Come on. Troublemaker Crozet. Ooh. I'll take Assassin Coley as well. She's really scary in the arena. Massive base speed. But, still trying to get that Troublemaker Crozet. Come on. Arrowell's pretty interesting too though. She has stun, combat readiness reduction, buff dispelling on basic. We might be running pretty low on bookmarks by now, but we're at least trying here. Gloomy Rain, is that it? Oh, here we go, one more. It's unfortunately still not a 4-star, so no possibility there. Celeste is pretty nice too though. We got 2 more chances to get Troublemaker Crozet. Here we go. This has gotta be it. Let's go Troublemaker Crozet. Boom. Here it is. Alright, it's Champion Zerato, which is a newer Moonlight hero. Not quite the one we were going for, but cool. I believe he also recently got a buff, so not bad. Last one, unfortunately, looks like it's a 3-star. But we can still talk about Troublemaker Crozet a bit more. I think we went over him a little bit in the patch, but yeah, he's a pretty interesting one. So with his 3rd skill, Oath of Protection, not only will he dispel all debuffs from himself and an ally, but he'll also give increased defense for 3 turns and grant class enhancement to the ally. So if he gives class enhancement to Thieves, Warriors, Rangers, or Mage, it'll give them critical hit resistance, so there's less chance for them to actually get hit by a critical, and if it's a Knight or a Soul Weaver, he'll give them a barrier. His passive is also super interesting, so he'll take up to 40% of the damage that the back row ally takes. So if you have one really fragile hero in your team, you can just put them in the back, and Troublemaker Crozet will take a huge portion of that damage. Also, if that back row ally is attacked, he has a 35% chance to counterattack the one who hit him. And then on basic, we have a moderate chance to stun, but if you soul burn it, that goes up to 100%. So unfortunately, we couldn't pull him, but if you want to try your luck, Moonlight Summons is the place to be. And then of course we have the side story, which I found super interesting. The story was very nice, and unfortunately, at least for week 1, we can't actually play through it together or anything because I've finished it, and as far as I'm aware, there's no way to actually see the story again. But the basic recap of week 1 is Cirilla, Cecilia, and other friends are looking for special scales. On the one hand, Cirilla is looking for them to earn money, and on the other hand, Cecilia is looking for them to try and find a way home. And what happens when you get to stage 4, Ravenwing Manor entrance, which is actually a labyrinth stage, you can go either direction to choose who you're going to sort of side with or go with. And I thought that was a pretty interesting mechanic to the story. Regardless, they get to the haunted mansion and they're met with so-called ghosts, which seem friendly at first, but end up not being that friendly after all, and send them back to where they were with no memory of what happened. However, Yuna and her companion Kazran do keep their memories because they are special, and of course they have to explain that to the rest of the team. So now where we're at is trying to find a way to get in there while either avoiding the ghosts altogether or finding a way to work with them. Turns out the ghosts were actually just regular girls whose father had transformed them into monsters and imprisoned them in this mansion just in the first act of week 2, and we have a lot of new details. So these girls' mother passed away, and of course the father was heartbroken about that and started studying dark magic. He was a successful merchant, which of course allowed them to buy the mansion and the servants and everything, and then of course after the wife's death he became sad and started practicing dark magic. But apparently the reason wasn't to try and bring his wife back, it was to revive his business. Like seriously, dude? The dark magic he used was making a deal with the Lich. The girl side of the story is that he traded their souls for the return success of his business. They also got ill during this time and the father abandoned them. This of course made the girls pretty upset, and one in particular, the angry girl, was out for revenge, but the others didn't really want that to happen. They were also disappointed and sad, but they thought killing him wouldn't really accomplish much. Cecilia eventually jumps in to help and asks the angry girl to go with Cirilla to the room with the magic stone. What is this magic stone, you ask? It's what powers the seal, and what the girl's father used in his dark magic. They get there and find out that the magic has been dispelled. In week 1, we were briefly introduced to a mysterious boy. Suddenly the mysterious boy reappears and leads them on a new adventure through an open gate in the mansion that leads to hell. While there, they see another gate that may lead to Cecilia's home. Here they find the Lich that the father originally made the contract with. His business revived for his daughter's souls. The mysterious boy is actually a hitman, sent by someone to kill the Lich, and so he does. After the battle, the boy hands the angry girl a letter, and as his business is finished, he leaves. The letter is written by one of her father's servants, detailing the father's side of the story. As it turns out, the girls got sick due to a disease plaguing Sulayu, and rather than employing dark magic to get his business back up, he did so to try and save his daughters. Eventually, he came down with the same illness and had to leave the mansion, but not before sealing his daughters there, to protect him from the lich he originally made the contract with. He knew he was going to die, and that if nothing were to be done, his daughters' souls would be taken. So in the end, the father's not such a bad guy. I mean, I'd like to say he could have communicated this better, but I guess it's a pretty tricky situation to be in. So the girls have some closure now, and their resentment can rest a bit, but they're lost now, just told to live freely. There's still the matter of Cecilia going home though. She does go to investigate the gate they saw earlier, and it does in fact lead her home. So there's at least that for a happy ending. Right? Well, not really. Cecilia meets up with her friend Luna, who was a companion to her mother, and a teacher to her. Well, Luna admits that she was in fact the one who pushed her off the cliff. She also admits to killing her mother. Then she throws her off another cliff and tells her not to come back. Why? I don't really know. Luna said some vague things about her being a hypocrite. So yeah, there's that. That was a side story. I thought it was excellent. Definitely one of the best side stories they've had in my opinion. Besides, of course, the story, there's also tons of rewards you can get by playing through it, farming any of the stages, equipping certain artifacts to get even more currency to spend in the exchange shop, etc, etc. So once again, links down in the description below, but make sure to tell me what you think about the video. Dropping a like if you happen to enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.